In your room, I long to be. There he is.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, we've got a disparity in energy there.
I enjoyed your ladder predictions. Hey, you had someone wild coming last. Who did you have coming last?
I had the Cowboys coming last.
That's right.
I just don't rate the roster. They've lost Valentine Holmes.
Yeah, they've lost a shit ton. They're not looking great. Yeah, I agree.
And Helam Lukey's down for the season, but they've got Johnny Bateman, who, you know, we haven't seen a lot of evidence in the last few years that, A, he's any good, or B, even that he plays football anymore.
He's a ghost. I think it's one of the hardest years to pick what team is going to be the worst in a long time.
Yes.
I think it could be anyone. Besides maybe 5 teams, there's a lot of teams that could come last.
Your Mighty Tigers, I've elevated from spoon to 11, I believe.
I think that's about right. I think if we have a really good year, it's 9th again. If we have a bad year, it's 2nd or 3rd last. But I think I think we're solidly mid-table kind of thing.
It's alive! It's alive! I revived the What's the Go feed, Monty.
Good work.
It's the rebirth of the show, and really, it's sad that we can't talk about things that we see outside the car as we record, but, you know, things evolve.
Yeah.
We're inside houses now, like real people.
Yeah. I miss being in a car. It was a high-paced environment. It was conducive to sport chat.
It was, but you have been in cars over there, right? You're not saying, I miss being in a car.
No, I don't. No, I've been in motor vehicles recently. As recently as this afternoon. Oh. It's the evening here now.
For anyone who's not aware, I'm Stu, that's Monty. If you spent any time listening to this podcast feed, you'll know we used to ramble on about sport here, but Monty moved to Canada. All that sort of stuff was curtailed while he was having young children and trying to establish a new life in a new country.
That happened.
Which you can understand, I feel.
Yeah.
But the urge to ramble on about sport with uninformed opinions drags us back. And so here we are. Now, Monty.
Yes, mate?
Why don't you tell me what moving to Canada's done to your sports viewing habits?
Yeah, that's a good question. So one of the best things that happened to me moving over here, I had a child when I got back. That was pretty good. But I also got this illegal cable box, which it's so good, man. I get it's got every channel you can think of ever in the world. I can watch Channel 7, ABC and stuff over here at my house because of this weird box I got. But
did you ask for a refund because of that? Or?
No, I don't get Channel 10. But what it has meant is that every sport is open to me. It is only the constraints of fatherhood and time zones that have held me back. So I would say I still watch between 1 and 2 games of AFL and NRL weekly during the season.
Right,
usually, each. I suppose, each. I would say that the games that are probably the easiest for me are the 1 p.m. Sunday starts for the AFL.
Right.
Because that's about a 9 p.m. kickoff here. But I can also push myself to watch my beloved Tigers in their usual slot of the 4 p.m. Sunday game. Right. So I can usually stay up for that, which is about 11 or midnight, depending on the daylight savings time.
I haven't had a look at the schedule yet to see how many Tigers 4 o'clock Sunday games there are, but I'll
usually get a whack of them. So that's my Australian codes watching. Over here, I'm big into the ice hockey now because you kind of have to be, and that's a pretty cool thing. I don't think I would like this with the AFL and NRL, but there's just so many games. There's a game on like pretty much most nights, which is kind of good, but also kind of like a bit of overload. Yeah, like occasionally we'll play games back-to-back days, which is a bit rough.
Right.
But so I'm quite into that. I get the British Premier League at a much better time now, so I can watch that. I usually trick my daughters into playing a game in our downstairs area, so I can put my Southampton game on while we're playing a game. And that's Saturday morning.
Yes. And you usually turn that off after 10 minutes anyway, wouldn't you?
No, it's the same. We're just terrible. We were on pace to be the worst team ever in the Premier League. And I learned a great stat today, which was we're on pace to be the worst team in the Premier League. We're also on pace to be the worst team ever in the top 4 divisions of British football, finishing in any season ever.
So ever's a long time. Ever's a broad thing.
When you move it out of the Premier League to the top 4 seasons, ever is a very long time. Like, Premier League's only 30 years, something like that.
Right.
But, like, the other ones, very long times. And also, like, 4th division squads. There's never been a 4th division squad as bad as we are this year. I mean, comparatively, playing against other 4th division teams, obviously.
Well, I mean, it's an old wives' tale, isn't it, that the football started because someone found a skull and they were kicking it around, right?
I've heard that, yeah. Is that true or no?
I have no way of telling you whether it's true. I don't know. But
that's fair.
But, I mean, do the records stretch back that far in terms of worst squads?
Yeah, I assume so. Speaking of that, I weirdly, I don't know where I was, some odd corner of the internet the other day, but I happened to find myself looking at a American Soccer League table from 1886 or something like that.
Yeah, sort of thing that just opens up on your phone when you're flicking through things, yeah. Someone
had obviously found it for some of the interesting things that occur. Firstly, the names of the teams were pretty weird. They were all seemed kind of business related. Like there was the Tarpers and the there was one team I think called the Squirrels or something like that. Pretty
Minnesota
odd.
Spreadsheets.
Yes, 1886 Minnesota Spreadsheets. But there were 2 teams that were far better than the others. Like the goal difference was, 200 or 300 for to like 5 against in a 20-game season of football.
Right.
And then after the first 2, there was like, I don't know, like regular scores, 100 for, 100 against kind of thing. But there was one bloke who scored 64 goals in 13 games. Like, just styling on motherfuckers.
I did do maths in society, but we assumed there were some games with peaks, though. Peaks and troughs. Like, it wasn't just an average of, 6 per game, whatever.
I don't know. The scores looked like it could have been a 6 per game kind of vibe, but no, I'm thinking he scored. In the modern day, the record for most goals ever in a World Cup game is actually held by an Australian. And it's not the World Cup finals, it's qualifiers as well. And I believe, this could have changed, but it's Archie Thompson with, I want to say 8 goals.
Say it.
16 goals.
Right.
We beat American Samoa, I want to say 32-1. Which the weirdest part about that is the 1. Like, what happened there? I'm looking it up so I can make sure.
13 goals.
Socceroos.
It's 13.
It's 13. And was it 32-1? Was that the final score?
31-0, yeah.
31-0. Oh, then there was no 1.
No.
Well, that story.
Unless this is a different Australia v American Samoa.
Yeah.
I mean, two match series.
Yeah, there we go. 31-0. No, there was no 1 goal. I take it all back. What are we talking about? My sports watching, have I?
Well, I guess I'm asking, like, what's changed? Like, obviously, so there's an increase in ice hockey watching.
That's the biggest change. And one of the, like, not only are there games pretty much nightly, but the season appears to go forever. Like, the last game was, we made it to Game 7 of the World Series last year, the Stanley Cup final, and that was on June 24th, and the season kicked off again in October.
Right.
That's a lot of hockey.
The fucking Oilers!
Yeah, the Oilers. Obviously big over here was the newly tested competition this year, the Four Nations.
Right.
Which was pretty much, we got to put other teams in there, but it's just America versus Canada. But also, hey, Finland's here? Let's put Sweden here as well. Sure, they can play off of third place.
So we should make it clear to people that you moved to Edmonton in Canada.
Edmonton, Canada, hence being an Oilers fan. Yeah, no, that's fair. That we should reiterate that.
And what's happened to the lady who bared her breasts at the Edmonton game? Has she gone on? Has there been a statue made of her? Or?
I had forgotten that. No, I think there was talk of naming a street, but it didn't.
I think that's the last bit of Edmonton news that made its way to Australia.
Edmonton currently is in a small furore, potentially taking away a street that's named Gretzky, Wayne Gretzky.
When you say taking away a street,
I don't think they'll take the street away. They would.
Do you mean digging it up and just putting some corn down and saying
that would really send a message? We don't stand for this. It's not. We won't rename it. We've taken the street away. No, but because of his Trump love and Trump's threatening about sovereignty and stuff. Yeah,
but wouldn't you have a fairly even representation of lefties and righties there?
And there were some quite pro-Trump ones until he, started the rhetoric of potentially trying to take the country from them.
Yes. Oh, okay. So has that dried up MAGA love a bit?
Hugely, hugely. Yeah, there's one thing that Canadians are. They can be rednecks, they can be all that, but national pride is high.
Right.
I will agree with you to the point where you say you want to take our country, and it's kind of like, well, no, that's too far. We don't like it anymore.
Oh, and so a lot of living daylights out of you.
Exactly. So, no, he's not very popular currently. And I don't think he'll gain it back either somehow.
Well, I think Trudeau would be getting the Zelensky treatment if he ever went down to the Oval Office too.
What a day that was. Fucking insane. Trudeau is going to be gone here pretty quick too.
Yeah, it feels like 8 years ago that he announced he was stepping down. What's the hold up?
I don't really understand it. And Canadian politics baffles me. I mean, this is a sports podcast, but I think they're waiting for him to call the election, but he has to call it sometime before November, maybe, or something like that. I'm not really sure.
Well, maybe he's waiting to become the 51st state and he can run for governor.
Governor? Yeah, maybe that could be. I hope that's not it. No. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah. Yeah, Gretzky, the street name. It's back, so it's old ways. What's the go?
That's
fantastic.
Good.
Yeah, we're back. We're back at it.
Love it.
The Gretzky, they want to take it away. We're going to delve into some very risky topic here, but I feel I have to explain it.
Right. Should I make a note of the time? For editing purposes?
Yeah, probably. But it has to be mentioned. And it can be explained, and it doesn't have to be bad. Okay, so
caveats.
It is currently called the Wayne Gretzky, the street, right? It might be Wayne Gretzky Drive, but everyone just refers to it as the Gretzky.
Mm-hmm.
They potentially want to rename it Joey Moss, the Joey Moss Drive.
What's the Joey Moss story?
Okay, Joey Moss is, I believe, first the kind of spirit mascot of the Edmonton Oilers. He was a young local kid with Down syndrome, and he kind of became a super fan in the early 80s during the Gretzky era, and was part of the team and was kind of there when they won the Cups, and has kind of since then stuck around and just is the Oilers mascot. He has also since become the kind of Eskimos, he might have been at that time too, our football team mascot, and just a general kind of all-round Edmonton mascot.
Are they still called that?
Eskimos or Down syndrome?
Eskimos. You just threw it out there casually. Are they still called that?
No, they aren't the Eskimos anymore. That's probably worse in this. Yeah, they're the elk now. Sorry.
Right.
But when he started following them, they were the Eskimos, so let's go with that.
I see. Okay.
But he passed away recently, and it's a big thing for the town. When I say recently, it might have been 2 years now, but
recent enough.
and so they want to rename the street the Joey Moss Street. So I thought I'd let you know.
And so what MAGAs are saying, fuck that guy.
No, there's no MAGAs here. I don't think there's much opposal to this currently.
Well, what's the problem? Just do it.
I don't know. I've told you. I don't know what's happened. It's a small few. I don't think.
What
I think.
Are you saying?
I think actually,
someone wants to change a street name. You don't know anything about it, and we can't discuss it because you can't answer any questions.
Basically, yes.
Right.
But it's sports related, so gotta bring it up.
It is very
basically.
Yes, it is sports related. That's correct.
Another just somewhat related point. There are several very odd sports murals in Edmonton, where I live now. There's a big, good Joey Moss one, but there's one near my house that is baffling, fantastic, and brilliant. And I will go take a picture and send it to you so you can put it on social. It is.
What's the Go Social?
It is a mural of Edmonton's famous sports casters.
Oh yeah.
So it's about, and it looks like the mural was done probably in the 80s. Okay. And so it's just like kind of 6 floating heads of like radio blokes.
I was going to say, that's pretty niche though, isn't it? If they're commentators, like people won't know necessarily.
Not only commentators, but like local commentators. Like, it's super weird. I really like it, and I always point it out. My wife gets annoyed now. But yeah, it's odd, but great. And I think it just says up the top, the sportscasters. It's very odd, but great.
Well, they could have drawn any old noggins on there. People wouldn't know.
I don't know who they are, yeah. But I have been past there with my father-in-law, and he knows all of me. Like, yeah. Yeah, they seem to have a bigger place in people's hearts here than at home. Like, I wouldn't want to fucking, I don't know, Bruce McAvoy. I'd want a Rabs mural, I suppose.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you want?
Yeah, I'd have a Rabs mural. But that's
there's
about
been
it.
No
Dipper? Rabs and Dipper Domenico. That'd be a good one.
No one stepped into Rabs' shoes, really.
Not really, hey. Wasn't there talk of him coming back and doing an Origin game last year?
Because, he'd called 99, and they wanted him to get to the ton, but I don't think he wants to do it.
He's still with us?
He's still with us, but I think he has doubts about his calling ability now, which is fair enough.
Okay.
Well, he doesn't...
Based on, is he Copus Mentis, or is it a voice thing?
I just think it's probably following the action, having insight, and remembering players' names would be the 3.
A non-Copus Mentis Rabs called game would be fantastic.
Yeah, but
it would be very confusing.
Genuine, like, jokes aside, it's because he wants his legacy kind of untarnished. He doesn't want to turn up one more time a few years later and just be mumbling oddness into the microphone.
Isn't this fantastic? I think one of the ongoing themes of our podcast when we used to record was a Rabs discussion pretty much every episode. And I didn't think we would get back there this time, yet somehow we've gone back to the great man.
Apart from just being Richie Benno style, like just a part of the fabric
I'd make a mural of him too. Yeah. Good one.
We'd probably talk about Rabs less if there was some equally interesting and talented NRL commentator now. But there's not, like, they're not necessarily bad, but Rabs seems to be levels above.
Oh, hugely. He's set the stand. No one will ever really touch that.
No one's been as excitable as him since Darryl Eastling. You know? I'm showing my age, but...
Yeah, that's a reference for the kids. Who's that bloke on Grandstand? He's been there for quite a while. I don't mind listening to him. Yeah, Andrew Moore. I don't mind a bit of Andrew Moore.
Yeah, Andrew Moore's good. Oh, man, I love to listen to the cricket over summer. Jim Maxwell.
I got to watch a fair whack of that. What a great summer of cricket. It felt like Test cricket was alive again.
How much you watched of that too. Like, did you get some Boxing Day action into you?
Yeah, and Boxing Day cricket starts on Christmas Day here, and I always, every year, try and show my Canadian and American family cricket. Right. And it lasts about 10 minutes, and they just go, don't know what the fuck's going on.
Right.
And then sometimes if we're over at their house, not at my house where I can watch it, I have to try and find it on YouTube, and you find the fucking weirdest shit when you look at the live cricket. Box? Well, that's why I said when we're over at their house. I have to
sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, I addressed that
not
at
portable.
the 4. Yeah. It is, actually. I should have taken over. But it seems to be connected to an IP. It doesn't matter. But, yeah, we ended up watching the cricket this year over there for about half an hour on a YouTube live stream of a very kind of elongated and sideways shot of a television, because I believe they would be like searching for images or something like that. Right. So it was sideways on, and it was being talked over very loudly by a Hindi man. It was odd.
But, okay, what time does it start over there? Because surely Christmas evening, people lick it up enough to enjoy anything.
Yeah, absolutely. But turns out, if you're not Australian, probably British and probably South African and probably Kiwi, being super lick it up doesn't really lend itself over here to cricket, whereas for us it's great. But trying to explain to them cricket, watching it on this elongated sideways thing with a Hindi voice over the top, it was like as hard as...
Yeah, that's not acceptable, no.
Until you get to this age and then try to explain cricket to people who don't understand it, you don't realise how weird of a sport it is. It's really weird. Like, compared to other sports, I don't think it's really weird, but like, how many ways can you get out? Oh, there's 9 ways you can get out. And you get to bat how many times? Well, maybe 2 times. Like,
you're saying, like, did they not appreciate the wild experimental play of Sam Constance?
No, they loved a bit of Constance. That was entertaining across borders.
Great.
But they were confused as to why he was hitting the ball sometimes but not others.
Oh, I see, yeah.
They were confused about why...
Surely they're aware of baseball, where there's strikes and fouls and stuff.
But there's only... No, more so why there was another man there occasionally. Because in baseball, you don't usually quickly return to the guy who previously was batting. But this was like, why is that guy back there? I thought he had gone. And I was like, no, he just went up the other end. He'll be back. So that kind of garbled nonsense.
Right. Well, I mean, that's disappointing. There is a rich Canadian cricket tradition.
First international match ever played, Canada versus America. Yeah, that's good.
And then,
bit of trivia.
Let me have a look here. Last ODI they played was v Oman.
Oh, yeah?
Maple Leaf Cricket Club in King City. So there you go.
In King City?
Yeah, King City. What's that?
I'm unfamiliar. I like the sound of it. Ontario. King City in Ontario. Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I have to go there. Sounds like the cricketing mecca.
It does. If any listeners can tell us more about King City, we're interested in that.
Who won the game?
I don't know. I'm reading about King City. I'm not worried about that.
Fair play.
There's a photo of the Heritage and Cultural Centre and it just looks like one small white building. That's interesting.
Yeah, I've never heard of it, which makes me think it's probably pretty small. It's really far away from me too. It's a very big country here. I reckon it'd take me 3 days to drive there.
Right. Yeah, look, while we're talking cricket, I just want to say, I miss caring about one-day cricket.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But hey, at least you got Test cricket back. I haven't cared about that for a while.
Australia are in the semis of the Championship Trophy, and I couldn't give a bugger. It's sad that feels like there's a hole there of caring about one-day cricket. I just don't and can't.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard to now, but that could be because, and this leads perfectly into it, I have to give a good shout out to my friend Adam Danos. He made me laugh a lot when he pointed out there was that stuff going around after that we won against India, that we were the champions of all disciplines of cricket.
Right.
And we were like the best in the world. And I said, well, what's next? And he suggested we look intergalactic. we have to take cricket to the universe and become masters of the universe.
Well, that's fair enough. There may be people, creatures out there that are physically superior to us.
Cricket planets.
Cricket compliant planets. But it doesn't necessarily mean they know where their off stump is better, does it?
Maybe they do. I think that's what I'd be concerned with.
Oh, right. More off stump sense than we've got.
But we've beat everyone here. That's it. We're done. We've got them all.
Maybe they don't have T20 cricket yet, and their batsmen can actually dig in and formulate an innings.
Fantastic. Their brains haven't been polluted by the slash and dash of the short shots. Yeah,
constant ramp.
Constance.
Sam ramp. Constant ramps.
Yeah, that's nice.
I just thought.
No, I know what you mean.
Why aren't I a sports writer? That could have been a headline at the time.
Fantastic. I can't get into one day much, but it's even less so for 2020 for me. It just feels there's too much of it now, and I don't care about it anymore.
Yeah.
It's in a weird level of it, maybe in 30 years, when I'm I've been a Sixers fan for this long now. They're important, but now I just don't care.
Yeah. Let me ask you this quick question, because I'm going to have to go in a sec, because I'm cooking alive in this room in the Sydney humidity, and
I'm in a basement, and it's a bit cold, but not too cold.
Yeah. So what I want to know is, how far has the Vegas excitement spread? Are you feeling it up in Edmonton? Can you go outside and just get a bit of a sense of it in the air?
Get a whiff. Sadly, no. I'm feeling it. I'm pumped, and I keep yelling at everyone at work. Yeah, you excited for the Vegas games this weekend? They don't know what I'm talking about. I did get a bloke at work to pick an AFL team and an NRL team.
Right.
And he's now an Eels fan and a GWS fan.
Why have you done that? So you can bag him out all year?
No, I gave him the choice of all teams. Those were the two he took.
Okay.
I suppose Eels is I think it's appealing because it's so odd.
Yeah.
It's probably the oddest one for a North American, the Eels.
It'd be the only... Well, okay, I don't know that with any confidence, but it feels like it would be one of the only sport franchises in the world that's named after eels, right?
I think you're right. The only country that would raise a concern is Japan. I feel like there could be some form of professional sporting team called an eel of some sort in Japan. Yeah. Probably not an eel of some sort. The Hiroshima eel of some sort.
I don't know how to Google that, because I'm writing eel sport team, and it's just going to be sports teams for eels, you would think.
Yeah, surely. I don't know either. I do know that there's some weird team names in Japan, like the Kashima Antlers.
The antlers? So not the full reindeer?
No, just the antlers. Here's my favourite one. There's a baseball team called the Nippon Ham Fighters.
What?
Yeah, I don't know what that's about, but I like the name.
See, that's annoying, because we don't know whether they're fighting over ham or fighting with ham.
Fighting for ham, yeah. I don't know if they mean the same kind of lovely process.
Yeah.
Cold cup
the only thing I can find here is Eric the Eel from the 2000 Olympics.
I remember him. Yeah,
which doesn't feel like the same thing, but I'd support him.
No, I think you can probably pretty safely say that the Parramatta Eels are the only Eels team in the world. Yeah, there's a lot of sports leagues.
How does he feel about Moses signing for another 5 years or 4 years?
Yeah, I asked him. Didn't have an opinion. Was confused. I said, Mitch Moses, mate. You know Mitch Moses?
Yeah.
He said, I don't know who he is. And I was like, yeah, call yourself a fucking Eels fan.
That's right, he does. It seems like he does.
And GWS he picked purely on the colour. He likes the orange.
Well, that's bizarre.
Yeah.
But his favourite colour is orange. I don't know if I've ever met anyone whose favourite colour is orange.
Yeah, I don't trust him really anymore. You wouldn't, if your first time picking an AFL team, surely, like, the Demons sounds pretty good.
Demons is pretty interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
Power,
like, yeah. The Dockers, confusing. Like, that's... Like,
well, in San Francisco, that might be...
there you go down well.
It's a good joke. I hope people appreciate it. You don't have to laugh, Monty, but I hope people out there appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll laugh when I appreciate it. Have we ever prosecuted the concept of sister cities for our sports franchises?
Look, I'm going to say yes. I have a faint memory
I feel like
of that.
we have.
I can't direct listeners to the episode, but...
No, but they'd find it if they trawled through everything. But yeah, I still think, the Dockers in San Francisco would work well. That's good.
All right, so we've gone off track of Vegas a little bit here. Like, do you have any predictions, thoughts? Does it seem like... What do you think of the idea of 5 years of trying to force rugby league down Americans' throats over there?
Well, the Seppos are trying to tariff us right now. When I say us, I mean Australia. They're trying to tariff us?
Well, I think Albo was sufficiently bumbling.
He appeased him? He mumbled his... Yeah, okay. Well, either way, what I was getting at was potentially we could add some kind of tariff on the NRL over here and the NFL now taking place in at the MCG.
Oh, right.
Shorten the game by 20% or something like that. Or take 2 players off the field or something like that.
Well, I kind of saw it as the players run out and then just, they've got little buckets and they walk around the crowd and people got to put extra money in to see, otherwise they won't start playing.
I like that. Or, everyone has to pick one limb to not use.
All right, well, first thought, what limb would you choose if you had to play a first-grade NRL game without -1 limb?
I suppose it would have to be my left hand, my left arm.
Yeah, you're not palming anyone, though. You're just going to get folded.
Defenseless. However, they're missing
probably
a limb
infinitely
as well.
easier than trying to run upfield with one leg.
Yeah, exactly. And also, the person folded in half, but you could probably still lay a pretty good tackle without your left arm, couldn't you?
And you get a lot of shoulder charge penalties because you've got to wrap the arm for it not to be a shoulder charge.
Yeah, absolutely. Scrums would be a nightmare.
They'd just be wobbling all over the place, wouldn't they?
They'll be slipping out. Do you think anyone would choose to rid themselves of a leg?
Well, if you, yes, it's not good for field position, but if
your kicker would have to take an arm off.
If anyone gets, within a 1 metre radius of you, you got 2 good arms to tackle with.
Or to throw the ball away to one of your one-armed mates.
That's right.
I think the proposition would be a lot harder in AFL for you to do that. But NRL with one arm, I think it's doable.
Yeah.
I wonder if there've ever been any players that had one arm.
Well, yeah. Well, maybe, yeah.
There's a famous woman soccer player in the NWSL, the American League at the moment, who only has one arm.
Right.
You don't use the arm in football unless you're a goalkeeper, I suppose. But yeah, she's doing great.
Well, balance, I would have thought.
Yeah, balance. That's a good point. She's probably gotten used to it.
But you'd almost, accuse the team that has her of cheating. They've got less chance of getting handballs.
That's a good point. And I don't know where, she's missing probably mid, I was going to say arm shin, but I could just easily say forearm. She's missing about halfway down the arm shin.
It's a handball all the way up to the elbow pretty much, isn't it?
I think it might be higher depending. The rules change often, but I think it's to do with your body position, and I think it goes up to the shoulder, but only if you're in an unnatural body position.
I see. Or if arm is away from body kind of thing.
Exactly. I think if there is body LBW style behind arm,
yeah.
But maybe that's not okay. You can't just reach out in front of you and touch the
I'm only
ball.
asking out of interest's sake. I'm not suggesting people tactically remove their arm at the point where it's no longer a handball.
That's not a bad idea, actually, because defenders in the Premier League and stuff now, when they're close to goal, will pretty much play with their hands held behind their backs.
Yeah.
So they could, you could take that a step further. Yeah. Just take your hands off. Take your arms off.
Yeah. Or, if it's still, if it's your arm, does it have to be attached to your body when you're playing the game? Can you take it out and can you hold your arm with your other arm just to have a really long reach for if you're a goalie blocking?
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. So as the goalie, you would have one removable arm and one arm that just held on to the
it's still your arm. It's just not attached. And obviously it would be cheating to take a broom out there.
Would it be more beneficial to lop a leg off in that scenario and hold, balance on one leg and hold a single leg in your two arms and bat the ball away?
It depends if the extra reach gained is worth the balance issues.
You need one of those really short torsoed people with long legs.
Right. Well, I think that's the most sense we're making today, Monty. So
yeah, we got there. It was great to do a What's the Go again. I'd like to do more of this.
Yeah. I quite sensibly didn't bother writing down many sport topics because I just,
No point.
Yeah.
Listen to the most recent one. I have a quick couple of queries.
About the NRL season? Yeah.
Yes, I listened to your most recent What's the Go about the NRL, and I quite enjoyed
anyone just listening to this, I'm also doing a NRL-themed episodes in this feed, as the NRL season goes on.
And firstly, I can say they seem a bit more informed and serious than this. For anyone listening, it's worth a listen. They're great. But I really enjoyed listening to the three of you go through your ladder predictions.
Yes.
And there were a couple of things that surprised me. The lowness you all have the Rabbits.
Yes.
Being overseas, have they imploded? I thought the Bennett thing would be didn't matter if you lost a few good guys, Bennett will still Bennett magic.
Well, I think because the Rabbits finished so low last year, the Bennett factor was meant to, there's only so far the Bennett factor can stretch you in terms of ladder progression. So the Bennett factor might have got them up to, I don't know, let's say 10, 11.
Okay.
Then you actually need players on the field to do the rest. And Latrell Mitchell went down for 4 months. I think, well, certainly my thoughts about South are that they're psychologically done for the year.
Yeah, I'll believe that.
They had a bad year last year. Bennett came. They were all pumped. Everyone's pumped. It's our year. Latrell Mitchell, I don't know if you've seen any photos of him, but he looked the fittest I've ever seen him.
Really? Okay.
He goes down for 4 weeks. Cam Murray goes down for months with an Achilles heel.
Hey.
Campbell Graham's continually struggling. Cody Walker's not ready for the start of the season they're not going, a lot of injuries. A lot of injuries. And I just think, they were so high on themselves before a game's been played, and then before that can even happen, they're going down left, right, and centre. That's why I've got them so low. I just think they're probably...
fair play. All right. Well, that's a good explanation. That gets it out.
Yeah. The Roosters, they've lost most of their team.
That's the other thing I was going to ask. Yeah, the Roosters was going to be... There was wild variance, I thought, from all of you on Roosters.
No, we all had Roosters. I don't think... None of us had them making the 8. They're all...
Oh, I thought we had them making the 8. Maybe
I'll have to check.
But yeah, who cares?
No, they're done. They're cooked. The Roosters, they've got to rebuild for next season.
I listened to Gus's podcast.
Yes, good. 6 tackles with Gus.
Yeah, I quite enjoy it. But he wasn't as low on the Roosters as you guys.
Well, who do you think knows more?
Probably Gus.
Well, we'll see. Where did he put him? Did he give a number?
He didn't give numbers, no. He went... The way they did one of your episodes was put the names of all teams in a hat, and then he would just draw one out and muse on them for a while.
Right.
Yeah, it was rather like a weird kind of improv game of theory.
Like whose line is it anyway? World's worst step.
Exactly right. But yeah, he was. Also, another team that seems to have lost a boatload of talent is the Warriors. Surely they won't come anywhere near the top 8.
No, I think if they do, it'll just be grit related rather than
than talent.
Yeah. They lost Sean Johnson, Tohu Harris, a bit unexpectedly. AFB.
Yeah,
they're a little
tough losses.
Yeah, and they haven't got a clear halfback 5'8" situation going on. Someone's got to step up. Will they? Won't they? We'll wait and see.
Tune in next week to find out. Right. That's probably a good time to call this one.
Yeah, I think so. Look, thank you, Monty. We're going to try and do this as often as circumstances allow.
Yes, please.
But yeah, great to hear your voice again. Great to have What's the Go back.
Good to go down on some tangents with you.
That's right, and I'll write some topics down for next time.
We'll get through one of them.
Philip. This is an Angry Chimp podcast.